agency to help some of the Bay Area's Latino neighborhoods affordable and accessible, especially for the people who already live there. KTVU's Allie Rasmus explains why some community groups say that pandemic change, its dynamic, in some ways put a pause on people being pushed out.
Away from the sound of construction and in the shadow of the Fruitvale BART, Fabiola Garcia and her 4-month-old son come home to a quiet courtyard, an oasis from the outside world.
It feels great. Just the fact that you have your own place, you know, your own space, it's a blessing, especially after being homeless for 6 months.
At one point, Garcia, her 2 older kids, and her mother had to live in a single room. The cost of renting a full apartment was out of reach, even though Garcia works full-time as a case manager at a homeless shelter in San Francisco.
When you try to pay for another place, you cannot afford it. It's very expensive.
She applied for an affordable housing unit at Casa Arabella in Oakland's Fruitvale neighborhood and got in. The 84-unit building opened right before the pandemic hit in fall of 2019. In order to qualify, people here must be considered low income and make less than $80,000 to $100,000 a year per household.
Incredible pressures on families to afford to live here.
Chris Iglesias is the CEO of the Unity Council, one of the 2 nonprofits that oversees Casa Arabella. The planning for it started back in the 1990s. Construction began this summer on a new affordable housing complex next door to Casa Arabella and will have 181 more units of affordable housing.
What we also did during the pandemic is we purchased 3 existing developments here in the Fruitvale.
And converted another 72 units to affordable housing.
This is really essential worker housing. We do need to have our essential workers closer and in the core of our cities.
Iglesias says because of the pandemic, there's a renewed appreciation for essential workers and the need to find housing for them here in the Bay Area.
You don't want them having to live in the Central Valley.
Also with the pandemic came new sources of state and federal rent relief. La Raza Community Resource Center, a nonprofit group in San Francisco's Mission District, gave hundreds of families in the Mission a housing lifeline.
We gave out 798 households checks to help them with their rent. We're just one provider of dozens of providers that give out rental subsidies.
There is still much more work to be done.
Rents are not going down at all.
Housing is still expensive and hard to find.
We still have really, long waiting lists. We're still trying to see really kind of how this plays out.
But among the uncertainty, there's a sense of optimism that with more social programs and shifting priorities post-pandemic, community groups can start to catch up on the housing gap. Garcia sure hopes so.
I think it's great because that means opportunity for people. I wish that they would do more.
In Oakland, Allie Rasmus, KTVU, Fox 2 News.